Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I always said I was going to do this video 1 year after the incident, and it's already 1 year after. By the time I'm watching this, it will be 1 year after. 1 year, it's my 1 year anniversary of being a prisoner.
Court chilling. We're chilling in court.
Wow.
Chilling in court, guys.
I didn't think I would be here.
I don't cry, but we're chilling in court.
Yeah, I was in prison for a day. No, I was in prison for a night and a day. Yes. So last year, on the 22nd of December, my friends and I, we went out. Detty December, went to go and chill, hang out. We're having a party, and next thing we know, police raided the place. This this whole party was approved by the Lagos State government. We had a letter from them, and they gave us some of their task force members to secure the party, so that if they raid, they will know that we are approved. But unfortunately, police raided, and it was because there were some boys fighting on the street somewhere. So they came in, they saw that there was a party going on. They asked what happened. The task force members showed themselves, and then they didn't care. It was those Morocco police guys, they didn't care. They just wanted to know why we were there. And everybody scattered. Everybody just started running. Celebrities, everybody just started running because nobody wanted to be in the news for anything. Because I was with the organizers, I stayed back. So while the organizers were trying to sort it out, explain to the police guys, they didn't even want to listen. They just called the DPO straight, and that one came. So we were trying to get into the car to leave. That's my friend Ruth. We're trying to get into the car to leave, and then next thing, one of the police guys comes to the side of the car and he's like, he hits the car and he's like, Ruth should hand over the key to him. And she's like, okay, calm down. She first of all gave her bag and her phone to her cousin, and then she tried to calm down. She came down with her hands up so that they would know that there was nothing. And then you're like, give me the keys. She told them that she's not with the keys, that the car starts automatically. As far I don't know how cars work, but that's how she explained it to them. So they were really pissed because they needed the keys to move the cars, and if she had given them the keys, their next line of action would have been to tow the car. So she didn't give them the keys. Next thing, the body slammed her onto the car. So she resisted, and then they took it as an invitation to properly assault her. So they took her to the back of the Black Maria, laid her down there, and started beating her. Meanwhile, I was at the back of the car trying not to be seen because I was really scared. Yeah. So I was on the phone with other of our friends already left. I was trying to narrate to them. Next thing I know, one of the guys is like, why are you on the phone? Who are you calling? You have police here and you're calling. And now their colleague was like, carry her into the Black Maria. They just collected my phone. So go to the Black Maria, and I sat at the back. I was like, what just happened? Like, how? From where to where? I couldn't really explain it, but we are the Black Maria. A few minutes later, we are at the station. It was Ruth, me, VJ, another of our friends that was trying to step in to be the bigger person. And then the head of security, some of us were in Black Maria, took us into the station. When we got to the station, we're still thinking I was joking. When we got to the station, they took us behind the counter, made us fill some forms, collected our phones, collected our shoes, collected our bags, collected all our money, took everything that they felt like our earrings too, and then they took us to the cell. The first one took the guys to the cell was thinking that our people will come for us, don't worry, it's nothing. Our people did come for us, but they didn't let them have access to us because they're like, okay, that's of course now Christmas money. So they were not going to let us go just like that. So the guys went in first, and then went in next. We're still thinking that, oh, okay, it's still 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. So definitely before 5 we'll leave here. So they took us to the cell, Ruth and I. The cell, the only thing that demarcated the cell was just, there was nothing that demarcated the guys from the girls. Everybody was in the same cell, only that the guys were inside and the girls were outside on the floor. So Ruth and I sat down on the floor looking at, is this our lifestyle? this is how we're going to be prisoners. And then in all of this, we heard our friends shouting outside, our people they were shouting outside for trying to explain and all that. But they still didn't let them see us. They even brought all our friends in. That was asthmatic, so we were really scared for that one. We were there, counting down. I think that was the first time I used the sky and the moon to count down to morning. We were there counting down, our bodies were already pained us because we were on the bare floor. VJ and the head of security guys, they already tried to sleep off, but they wake up in between their sleeps, console us, and you know. The next morning was when all the drama happened. They came to call Ruth and I from the cell, and then took us to one of their rooms like that, and they said we should write statements. Like statement that was said we should write that we're out around after 12, unguarded, unmasked. All of this was a lie. And then we should write that we assaulted police officers. Or like, assaulted. That's how one came from nowhere. It was like, look at his body, that we assaulted him, that he's injured, that he has gone to the hospital this morning. We're like, assault you. Like, we assaulted you. It wasn't possible because you guys literally carried us. If we assaulted you, you would have killed us. So they said we should write that we assaulted them. I told them I wasn't going to write that. That I was going to write exactly what happened. So I wrote exactly what happened, and they still insisted that we wrote that we assaulted them. So I wrote that. The officers here are insisting that I write that we assaulted them, which I did not do. But they are making me do. They are making me write it. Same thing I told Ruth to do. So they know that it wasn't our intention to write that. So they filed it and then said they were going to take us to court. And they did. They did. They took us out. Just Ruth and I, the guys were still inside, handcuffed us and took us to court on 5 counts charges. I can't remember the first one, the second one. The third one was assault on the police officer. The fifth one was disruption of public property in relation to NSAS. But like, how? It didn't make any sense to me, but at that point, nothing was making sense. So we're in their bus going to the court. And then when we got to the court, they said we should get a charge and bail lawyer. We already called some of our guys that we were on our way to court. Shout out to King Pexi, by the way. Pexi sends delegates from the Bohemian lawyers. So some charge and bail lawyers walked up to us, said that they wanted to represent us, and they were charging 100K. They said you just go in and come out. Like, not that we were panicking, so it looked like a good idea, but our guy said, oh, we should hold on, the lawyers are coming. So I think that didn't sit well with them at all, because the opposing lawyer was really, really mad. I feel like it's a money-making scheme for them. I can't explain it, but I just know that it didn't sit well with them. So the judge came. Our lawyers were trying to be very diplomatic, doing my lord, all those very law terminologies that I can't relate to. And then the judge got angry, saying it was like the guy was being too much with the whole my lord, this, that. In our heads, like, is that what they are taught to do? What do you want him to call you by your name? So he just said that because our lawyers were being too much, our guys were standing up too much to address him, that they were going to adjourn the case. At that point, I had already started to cry because I was like, hey, because this was like 3 days to Christmas. There was no way, if that judge closed for that day, they might see him next in January. And I didn't want to go back to that cell because that place that I came from, it was horrible. About 20 girls, some of them crying, most of them were picked on the road randomly. Somebody said that it was a commissioner, I can't remember who, that saw her, got offended, like just got offended by the sight of her, and then took her to the cell. From there, they were all going to go to maximum prison for nothing. They didn't do anything. So our lawyers found a way to appeal to the judge for them to not let them postpone the case, adjourn the case, and he agreed. He came back and then he listened to our case. The opposing lawyer came out and he said that, I think they called him the prosecuting lawyer. He now said that, oh yeah, the both of us, we sent a policeman to to the hospital that he's beaten, he's battered, he can hardly walk, he can hardly. I think that exaggeration made the judge know that it wasn't possible, because if they are just if they are probably just stuck to their original story of us hitting the policeman, maybe the judge would have believed. But they went on to say, oh, we battered the judge, we beat him, he's currently in the hospital, that his bills are on the high side, that he's on oxygen, almost in coma. Very, very ridiculous. And I was wondering how they wanted the judge to believe that. But the judge now looked at us and now said, oh, that the way he's looking at us, it's impossible for us to have done that. So he doesn't believe prosecuting lawyer. And he set our bill for, I don't know how much, but he said 11.5 guarantor, something. Can't remember what level it was. So our next problem was trying to figure out how to get a level 5 or level something guarantor. But apparently, there are people that hang around the courts waiting to be paid to act as a guarantor for it. And we found one. They did that. They were supposed to go and verify the details of the guarantor, and then the judge said it was already late, and we had to stay in the cell again for one more night. So when they verified, they would release us. Well, that wasn't the sentence I was hoping to hear. But I mean, the warden, I mean, whatever she was, the IPO that took us, she was really, really happy to have us in cell for 1 month. When we were going back, she kept on saying a whole lot of things that even the officer that followed her kept on saying things like, oh, we know that you didn't do it, but you guys just have to be the scapegoat. That we just have to show you guys that you're not all that. Like, that was literally what they said. That you guys just have to be scapegoats. We know that you didn't do it, but seeing that you guys were resisting and making phone calls yesterday, we just have to show you guys that you guys know the one with all the powers. If you guys felt like you had powers during NSAS, that we're going to clamp down on every young Nigerian that participated in NSAS protest, and I'm like, we're fighting for you. Like, do you know that we're also fighting for you? None of this, we're fighting for you. But that one didn't matter. Then the IPO went on to say that, oh, that when her children's school fees, that she's looking for it. She now faced truth and said, Ruth should pay for it. Like, from where to where? She was like, that now she likes us, that she's beginning to have a relation. This was the same woman that was forcing us to write that we assaulted police officers. So she was now trying to be cozy to us because she saw the kind of people that came to court for us. And then she's like, that Ruth should pay her son's school fees. And then the policeman in front too was like, oh, that he has a son my age. I don't even think they knew my age. But like, he has a son my age, that he needs us to take care of the son, blah blah blah. And we don't help you born. So like, literally, we're the ones in handcuffs. You handcuffed us on our way. We even begged them to remove the handcuff on our way back, saying that they were being friendly. But they said no. I don't know whether they thought I would jump down from the bus and run away. But they didn't let us. They handcuffed us, and then we went back to the cell. We went back to the station, and then I was like, oh, that before we leave, like, eventually, because she was going to go off that shift for tonight, but before she leaves, is it possible that Ruth gives her a week, the week they arrested her in, or was it the week they arrested me in? I think one of us shall, and was it possible that we give it to her? And we're like, hey, how is it that you people have so much goodness? But eventually we got back to the station and then took us back to the cell. The woman now changed. She became quite vicious again. So she took us back to the cell. We're like, you guys just want to verify. Our lawyers are here. You don't take us back to the cell. When you took us back, we sat down back in our cell for like 3 to 4 more hours while our lawyers were running around. And then we could not get the verification on that day. So it meant that we had to stay there for 1 more night. So we had to do the next best thing we knew how to do. Or our guys had to do the next best thing we knew how to do. Find the DPO and appeal to him directly. But to speak with the DPO, you have to drop money. And it's in 6 figures. So that one was dropped. And the DPO asked them to let us out of the cell and let us go. But the boys under him, they didn't listen. Those ones don't listen to their DPOs. Now those ones like told that they settled the DPO, that we had to settle them too. So that was another round of battle. That everything was just going back and forth. Money was just touching hands here and there, everywhere. When that one did not work, when we saw that they were not listening to DPO, we had to pull out another gun and call the son of one of the royal sons in that area. We had to call them, and then that one came on the authority of his father. Apparently, DPO was his father's security man before, like one of the security detail. So one of the royal sons came, and then he came in the name of his father, and he said that he knew us, and he demanded for us to be released. On top of all of that, these people were still trying to be with him because he talked to the DPO directly. But like I said, his officers were not listening to him. So since DPO had that order from above, now going to let his officers listen to him was the issue. So it had to, like, it was a whole lot of battle. But eventually, they made us leave and promised that we would come in the next day. Since instead of sleeping in the cell, we were going home. So they made us leave and made us come back and promise that we'll come back the next day so that we'll go to court and submit the verification from all those level something. And we did. We came back the next day. We came fresh and fair. And next thing, the one is like, oh, look at you guys. You guys look very good. Blah, blah, blah. This. People will drop money for me before you go. That it's Christmas. I need to go for Christmas shopping because once we go to the courts now, from the court I will enter a go to go and buy things for Christmas. So people will drop Christmas on me. Eventually, we got to court, and then it was ruled out. We were discharged as acquainted, and we went home. But after that day, I don't think I was alright for I don't think I was alright for a few months. I wasn't okay. I was always crying to bed because I was like, oh, crazy, really crazy. And I got news later that most of the girls that were in the cell with me, all of them were moved to maximum prison. I don't know how it's possible for people to move somebody else or move people's children from one prison to another without a court order. Well, apparently most of them had been going to court, but it had not yielded anything sensible, so they had to move them to maximum prison and seemed to create space in Morocco. But I had PTSD for a long time. For a few months, I had PTSD. I could not see police without shaking. I still cannot see policemen on the road without shaking. And it's December again. These things are still happening. People are still getting arrested. It's even worse now that they didn't even pay them salaries. Most of them are still getting arrested, and most of them are still arresting people to make money off them. See, the end of this tale is that I'm so glad I didn't spend more than that time in prison or in cell. And also, Nigeria will happen to you, whether you like it or not, whether you expect it or not. Nigeria is going to happen to you. Merry Christmas, and thank God for my life. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.